But it doesn't mean because you love somebody that they're allowed to be wrong all the time. They're not allowed to be wrong when you love somebody. You have to show them that they're wrong so you can help them change. And when I say wrong, I just mean wrong in the thought process. Because the thought process activates the wrong thing to do. When you think wrong, most likely you do the wrong things. Especially when you think you're right. And you can't be wrong. You know what I mean? Well, this individual, I care for her a great deal. And she came from here and she worked over there. And now she's at McDonald's. This individual, right? There's a ton of individuals there that I care for that are leaving that job and going somewhere else. And you can just see the misery in people's faces, as I saw last night again. And this is what I'm trying to avoid all of us falling trap and falling prey to, is we know what it's like to work for people that we truly don't want to work for, don't want to be around, and a lot of times it's just hard for us to grasp sincerity of wanting to be better, wanting to be great. We are afraid of being great because it means that we are putting everything out there. We're actually pushing ourselves to the limit. Humanity is so equipped and so ready to use an excuse for why they didn't do something, why they can't do something, that they set themselves up for failure before they even begin whatever the task is. They're already ready to say, oh, these are all the ways it's not going to work. These are all the ways that I'm going to need everybody to do this for me so that I can reap the benefits. And that's just what it is. I mean, does it make people bad? No, it doesn't. Does it make them unsuccessful? Yes, it does. It makes them a failure. It does. No one wants to be called a failure, but the truth is the truth. It just is what it is. And regardless if it feels good or if it doesn't feel good, it doesn't make a difference. I was telling people last night that I was speaking with, I said, all you're doing, you're still doing the same thing. This is what got her in trouble in the first place. You guys still giving her excuses. We're not talking bad about her. We're saying she works at McDonald's. That is a fact. If we get in a car and go over there, she's there. That is not talking bad about someone. Then people have to stop being so sensitive about, oh, this person talking about me, oh, this person doing this. Understand something. Know the difference between somebody saying something about a fact and trying to maliciously hurt you. Stop being so weak as a society. Get some strength about you. Consider the source. We all hear that growing up, and we hear that around. I mean, that really has a meaning. Consider the source. If you think that the person that's talking doesn't like you, then maybe you have something to say something about. If the person cares for you and they say something, they might be hurting just as much as you are that you're going through something. You never consider that. You know what I'm saying? It bothers me that people are like that because you know the person's miserable. You know they are. And yet you say, well, she's young, she's this. So I said, well, my girl Flo is younger than she is. Now what? Oh, she was doing it all on her own. My girl Flo was doing it on her own. She's doing it. Now what? She's living at home with her family. Well, how is it my fault? What was I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just line everybody up that's financially challenged and say, bring your bills to me, let me pay them? What is that doing?
Crutching them.
Yes. See, I always tell people, you never know what somebody's going through.
No.
And it only takes one person to push that person off the ledge that is really on that fine line of sanity and insanity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Literally. You have to be careful pushing people's buttons because you don't know what button has already been pushed, and yours is the launch button. Then you think the person crazy because they went off. But you don't understand what kind of day that person has gone through. You don't know what kind of week that person is going through. You don't know what kind of month that person is going through. You don't know what kind of year or decade that person is going through. Just because they don't throw out all their problems so you could talk about it doesn't mean they're not going through stuff. Isn't that true?
That's true.
The beauty of my life now, as opposed to decades ago, I don't have to be around, not one part of the day now, not one part of the day, I don't have to be around people I don't want to be around. I don't have to be around people I don't respect. Not 1 minute of the day now. Thank the Lord for that. Because for so many years before then, I had to endure it. This is what it is. Yeah, they do it. Now, does other people have to pay their dues? Of course they do. Of course they do. But I was telling people last night, are you really a friend of somebody when you give them an excuse for why they're failing at life, even if they're young?
No, you ain't helping me.
All right, right says you got a time to grow into something.
Yeah.
Who says that? I'll tell you who says that. Failures. Failures say you got time to grow into something. We could say optimists. Okay? Optimists have it. But there's a ton of optimists that are in cemeteries right now that never got to see their optimism fulfill itself. Because they said, I got plenty of time to do something. You don't. If you're going to do something, you do it. When I decided to write this book, I grabbed a pad, I did it. I got my part done. Right? It's done. You guys helped me name it. It's already being spread throughout the country, people talking about it now. It's not even, the publishing's not even done on it. And they're already promoting it. Why? Because I'm proud of it and I'm talking about it. It's easy for somebody to want to be with a champion. It's easy. There's tons of Raven fans right now. Tons. That maybe a few years ago were Steeler fans.
Right.
And years before that, Patriots fans. Mm-hmm. Right? There are always going to be fans of the team who wins the Super Bowls. Right?
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
The person can't name nobody on the team, but that's your team. It's your team because they win. I understand. You're a fair weather fan. You're not going to ride with them when they lose, but you're going to ride with them when they win. Who won? Who's not a LeBron James fan right now? People are trying to forget Kobe. You can't forget Kobe. He got 5 titles.
Yeah.
Just because his team ain't good right now, that doesn't mean you jump off the bandwagon. Right? Mm-hmm. That's what shows you're a true fan. You're a true fan of a team when you ride with them when they lose. Because that's the only time you deserve the spoils when they win. That's the only time. And when you're down and out, that doesn't mean that's when you quit. When you're down and out, that's when you fight. That's when you come together as a team. And that's what we do. If you forget where you came from, you can't know who you are now. If you forgot where you came from, you can't possibly know who you are now. You can't. You can think you do, but you can't. Because you forgot where you came from. You don't know your history, so how can you know your present? And how can you respect your present? And if you can't respect your present and where you are, how can you expect others to respect it? Mm-hmm.